Hello everyone, today we're taking a look at the brand new Black Series Deluxe Luke Skywalker and Grogu set from the Book of Boba Fett. This pack represents the episode in the Book of Boba Fett that was focused on Luke and his new Jedi Academy with Grogu as his new learner. This is a pretty cool set. It's just starting to hit Target, so if you want to find it, go ahead and start checking some of those stores, and it's going to cost you $45. Let's see if somehow this set can be worth that price. Taking our first look out of the box, I first want to focus on just the figures that come with the set. Of course, we have Luke Skywalker in his outfit from the Book of Boba Fett appearance. This outfit is slightly different than his normal Jedi robes, and we also have Grogu down here. He's a pretty familiar sight at this point. The Grogu is pretty good. Again, this isn't a new sculpt or anything, but it looks good enough. The head has some articulation, so do the arms and the hands. I think this new Luke looks really good from head to toe. You can see there's a lot of newly sculpted material going on here to fit with the new outfit. And I want to take a look at the head sculpt, because I think this head sculpt looks pretty good. I don't think they've ever perfected Luke. Mark Hamill isn't an easy face to get right, but I think they've done about as good on this head as we've ever seen them do, and it really works for the way that his character looked in the Book of Boba Fett. I also want to focus really quickly again on the new robes that he's wearing. I think they look really nice and clean. It's nice to see a new sculpt on a set that's going to cost this much money. Alright, the first accessory piece I want to look at is the backpack that's included that you can fit around Luke to have Grogu in. It does come with this extra little piece to put in the backpack. That way Grogu can actually poke out of it and isn't going to sink all the way to the bottom of it. And that piece just slides right in there and sits nicely on the bottom. Unfortunately, with this backpack, it does use a design that has a strap that kind of pegs into a hole on the side. And while that seems really good in theory, when you go to put it on, it's really hard to get that peg to stay in the hole. You can see here how tight of a fit it is around Luke, and when I go to try to squeeze it into that hole, you can just see that it's not staying in there at all. I really have to work in order to get it to stay in there. Eventually I was able to do it, but it should not be this difficult to use this accessory with the figure. Once you do get the backpack strap locked in, I do think it looks really nice on Luke here. You can see Grogu sticking out the back in there. He looks really good as well. The straps have a little bit of detail sculpted into them, although there isn't anything really in terms of paint work on the front straps, but they stand out really well against the black robes that Luke is wearing. Flipping around to the back, we can see Grogu in there looking nice and happy. You can see there is a little bit of paint on the back of that backpack, and that looks pretty nice. Grogu fits in there pretty well, and you can see him peeking over the shoulder of Luke. Overall, I think this accessory piece works pretty well as intended, except for that little peg hole that you have to fit the strap into. The backpack also doesn't limit very much articulation on Luke whenever he's wearing it, so you can still get him into poses wielding his lightsaber like this, and you can still have Grogu sticking out the back of that backpack, looking good in there while Luke has his lightsaber out. I would hope that they would include some swappable hand pieces to have him force pushing, but they didn't, which is typical for the Black Series. Moving on to our next group of accessory pieces, I would first like to look at Yoda's lightsaber, which is included. Now, the articulation on this Luke is well enough done that you can have him sitting in this pose, replicating the way he looked in the show, showing off Yoda's lightsaber to Grogu. It fits kind of loosely in the hand because of how small it is, but it gets the job done, and it will stay in there. Additionally, they did include an unlit version of the hilt and the box that Luke keeps it in. That box does open up, so you can go ahead and just place the hilt in there. It fits really nicely in there, and it gives you a nice little way to recreate that scene. Rounding out this little scene here, we also have the little pouch Luke put Grogu's chainmail armor in. It's tied into that knot that looks like Grogu's head, and you can fit it into Luke's hand. I think this is a really cute little accessory. What I really like about this set overall is that all the accessory pieces can work together to replicate a scene well. It's a memorable scene, so I'm glad we can recreate it. Moving on to our next set of accessories, the first piece that we have here is going to be this clear base plate. When you have this base plate, you can go ahead and grab the long stand here that has a ball joint on the end, plug it into the hole on the base plate. Once you've done that, you can attach the little Jedi training probe onto the top of that, and it looks like the probe is kind of hovering in the air there. You can pose Luke with his lightsaber next to it like he's training on it, and overall I think that looks pretty good. The more exciting setup option that they give you with that Jedi probe is going to have the ground base plate here. I think this looks pretty well detailed. It's got some green grass splattered over the rock, and it looks pretty good. There are 2 holes in there that you can use. The first one, you're going to plug this blast effect into. The thinner end will go into the Jedi probe, and then once you have it in, you can put the thicker end down into the base. There's a slot specifically made for it that it'll plug right into and fit in well, and it looks like that probe is shooting down at the ground. The next piece that we're going to have for this is the little stand for Grogu jumping. It's clear so it doesn't stick out too much. Go ahead and plug the smaller ball joint into the little hole on the bottom of Grogu, plug the larger ball joint into the hole on the base, and you can set it up to look like you have Grogu jumping away from the probe shooting at him. And this, as a whole set, I think actually looks really good. I'm surprised with how much I like it. They do give you one additional piece to put on here, and it's just a little frog that we've seen a few times before. He can just go on that base. So here is Luke standing next to the main accessory pieces all put together with Grogu, the probe droid firing at it, the ground base, the little frog on there. And when I see these two together, I'm actually really happy with how this all turned out. At first, I was pretty turned off by the value of this thing at $45, and you can see with it you get a figure, but you also get all of these accessories, and they do add up to quite a bit. I'm not sure if it's exactly worth $45, but I am really happy with all the different options they gave you to recreate so many different scenes. So, now we have to answer the question, do I think that this is worth $45? Let's go ahead and first break that down according to Hasbro pricing standards. In the main line for the Black Series, you can buy a figure currently for $25. Do I think that that's a little overpriced? Yes, I do, but that's the current Black Series standard. That means that this Luke and the lightsaber that it comes with is valued roughly at $25. So do I think that the additional accessory pieces, including Grogu, that you get for this set are worth $20 more? That gets us to $45. Maybe. I think it's kind of pushing it. I would like to see them at around $15 in value, but $20 I think is okay. I can see where Hasbro got the $45 price point, judging by their standards. Again, their standards are just a little high. I think $40 would have been a decent price for this set. I was mildly surprised when I was able to open it up and play with everything. It gives you a lot of chances to recreate many scenes from the episode. $40 I think would be okay. At $45, you're going to have to make the decision for yourself if this is something that you want.